Hello everyone, am I audible? Okay. I am Pragyansri from Tech ActaNet Services, welcoming you all to our 4-day workshop where you will be taught Python development from scratch. This is a training section. We will be teaching everything you guys need to know to complete the task that has been assigned to you from OctaNet. Okay, now let's just give you all a quick brief on what OctaNet is. So, OctaNet is a budding startup headquartered in Bhubaneswar, specializing in IT solutions across diverse sectors, including e-commerce, real estate, automation, and personalized business applications. Our primary focus is to provide affordable services to startups, aiding them in their digital initiatives. In addition to our core services, we are expanding into the corporate training sector, aiming to equip future corporate employees with a solid foundation. We also address students' needs by identifying academic project requirements, internship opportunities, and offering comprehensive solutions. We are proud to be incorporated as an organization with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, registered with MSME and approved by AICT for internship programs. Also, our commitment to quality is underscored by our ISO 9001:2015 certifications, ensuring that every project we undertake reaches high standards of excellence. Okay, that was all. Let me now stage our guest and instructor for the event, Mr. Hertz Pranjal. So, shall we start, Mr. Hertz?
Yes, so good evening, everyone. Okay, in this 4-day session, we are going to start from the very basics, that is, what is Python variables, and there are different types of variables in Python, right? And we will gradually move up to classes and objects. Okay, so just give me a quick introduction that you guys are familiar with programming, or Python is your first programming language. Okay, so suppose okay, okay, familiar with it, right? So this session will be okay. First programming, right? So I'm going to consider that Python will be your first programming language, right? And we will be starting from very basics. I think you guys are familiar with VS Code and uh, okay. I think you guys are familiar with VS Code. Okay, let me start. So guys, see. Uh, Now, so the first question is why Python, right? So in current time, Python is the what you can say the very is a very easy to learn user friendly programming language, and it has scopes in very different fields like web development, data science and machine learning, software development, and many things else. One of the most popular example is machine learning and artificial intelligence. I think everyone has heard of that, ChatGPT, right? So those are the what you can say that Python are used to develop some part of ChatGPT LLM. Okay, and one of the most important aspect of Python from your point of view is that it is user friendly, and the requirement for the Python developer or a Python expert is in a huge demand in the market, right? So let's first of all install an interpreter or IDE. Okay, just let me know if you have already installed the Python interpreter. It will really save us some time. Okay, so let's suppose that you have installed the interpreter. So there are what is an interpreter, right? So when you write a code, right, in any programming language, right? So interpreter is also a software piece of code which explains your code to the operating system, to the hardware devices. Okay. So without wasting much time, let's jump to Python. See, in Python there are two types of extensions. That is .py. In this file, I am using .py. Okay. Let me increase the size. In this file, I am using .py. Okay, .py extension explains that it is a Python script, a single Python code. Okay, .ipynb is the Python extension for the Jupyter notebook. Okay, so see, let's quickly jump to the variable part. Okay, guys, if you have any doubt anywhere in the explanation, just put a chat on the chat box. Okay. So, what is a variable? Suppose I have to perform 5 plus 10, right? Okay, now if you will run, let me set the environment. Okay, see, if I have to do a calculation of 5 plus 10, then we can perform like this, right? But suppose you have to perform another calculation with suppose 25 plus 10, then you have to write another line of code, right? Each time you have to write a new line of code for new calculation. Like we want to do 45 plus 56, then again you will require a new line, right? To overcome this, we create variables. Okay, and inside these variables we store some data, right? So for your notes, consider variables are boxes where we store data. That's it for now. Okay, so now when we do a plus b, now this will print the sum, right? And if you want to do another calculation, you have to just change the values inside those variables. Okay, so what is a variable? Simply it is just a box. So variables are nothing but just a box where we store data. Okay, so data are of many type, right? uh, I think everyone knows that there are natural numbers, counting numbers, then we have rational number, irrational number, complex numbers, right? So similar type of concepts are used in programming languages. That is, there are some data. This is a real number, right? 1.2. So this data is known as float. Okay. Then we have another data, 12. This one is known as integer. Okay. Then we have another data. This is known as string, right? So see, see, in this line, this print. Print is a statement, a function we use to print the value of any variable. Okay. So if now we will play, so we have a value of 1.2, which is the value of the variable a, right? If you want to uh, perform a sum, then we have a plus b, then we will get 13.2. Okay. So print is a method. What is the method? We can see that later. But print is something which we can use to print anything on the screen, right? Anything on the screen. Inside this print, you can pass anything, right? So it will print the first statement. The first print statement is a plus b. Then the second print statement is a string, right? So see, when you want to know the data type, the type of a variable, right? The type of a variable. For that, we use another function that is known as type, and inside that type we write the variable name for which we want to know the data type, right? Now we will run this, so we will get float. I told you that any integer value, that is numerical value with a decimal, is considered as a float data type. Okay, so if we will print the type of C, C is the type of a string. Okay, so now see, let's do it. So there is one data type we have seen, that is string, right? So there is something special about string. See, number, integer, floating point value. Uh, the operating system we use, the hardware we use, it is easy to represent these integer value numbers or these floating point numbers, right? I think everyone has heard of those Boolean values. Okay, that is true or false. Or I think you have heard of those bit manipulation or binary values, right? 0 and 1 are the binary values. Okay, so uh, let's take a small example, that is 2. The binary value for 2 is 10, right? I just let me know that, guys, you are familiar with the binary representation. Okay, so just represent it 010. So to representing this b equal to 2 or a equal to 1.2, it is very easy for your machine to represent these in the RAM. Okay, now for representing these strings, there are something known as ASCII values. Okay, ASCII values. So are you guys familiar with ASCII values? Okay. Okay. So see, what are ASCII values? So capital A is represented as 65, capital B is represented as 66, and many more, right? So how to represent a string? Always, there is a, what you can say, that a syntax for writing a string, that is, always put your strings inside double quotes or inside single quotes or inside triple quotes in Python. Okay, so see, suppose I have a variable my string 1, right? Now print the type of this variable. What we will get? We will get type string. Okay, now using my string 2, we will have my string again. The type will be string. So the type of my string 2 is also string. We have my string 3 and we are using triple quotes. Again, the data type we will get is of type string. Okay, so now what is the difference between these single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes? Okay, so there is no difference between a single quote and a double quote string. Okay, both are, you can use both, or for a proper formatting, always use double quotes for a string. There is an advantage of using triple quotes, that you can write your strings in a multi lines. Okay, in multiple lines. and these strings will be printed in multiple lines in your screen. For example, if you will print my str3 value, and suppose if I put a new line here, see, if I put a new line inside a double quote string, it is already giving an error. Okay, so we cannot put a multiple lines inside a double quoted string. Okay, so let's print the value of my string 3 and see, this is printed in another line. Okay, in new line. So this is one only the advantage of using triple quotes, right? Okay, so we have seen the values float. Now, let's see. So guys, this is a variable storing the value 10. Okay, 10 is of data type integer, right? To add a comment in a code. Okay, so what is a comment? See, if you have noticed here, I have written something here, right? But this line of code is never executed. Suppose if I will write here print, see, I have written a print value here. Okay, print statement here. Put it inside quotes. See, but we are not getting this value, right? This value is not printed on our screen, right? Suppose if I will remove this hashtag, then now we will get that value. Okay, so comment is something that is always ignored by the interpreter. Okay, it is always ignored by the interpreter. Your interpreter never runs these lines which are inside the comment. Okay, so why we use comment? We use comments to provide some additional information about the line of code we are going to write. Okay, comment is a very important tool. Always try to put comments in your code. Okay, suppose this is of type int b is equal to 2.5. Okay guys, just let me know the data type of b. What is the data type of b? Yeah, so it will be of type float. What is the data type of c? So the data type of c will be int. Okay, let's see. The type of c is int. Float is only those where we are using decimal. Okay, not a boolean value. Boolean is always true and false. See, this is a boolean value. This is a boolean value. And always remember that to write a yeah. So always whenever you are writing a boolean value, always write it with capital T or the false value with capital F. Right. So only these two are boolean values. Suppose type of E, that is of type boolean. Okay. And now suppose we have, so what is the data type of F? Data type of F. Yes, in Boolean, always write the first letter with capital. F is of type string. Okay. See, it is written inside a double quote, right? Anything written inside a double quote, single quote, or triple quote is always a string. See, type F, and we have a type of F as string. Okay. See, what is the data type of G? What is the data type of G? It is of type string again. It is written inside a double quotes, right? Whatever is written inside a double quote is of type string. See, it is of type string, type G, that is the third print statement. The third print statement we get on the screen, that is of type string, right? It is written inside a double quotes. Suppose, okay, um, let's see. See, we have a value 2 plus 3, right? And we are printing the value of A. So let me know the output. What will be the output of this print statement? Yeah, so the value we'll get is 5. Now let me know what will be the value of the print statement A. Right now we will get the value as 2 plus 3 written on the screen. Okay. Whatever inside a double quote is always considered as a string. Whatever given inside a double quote is always considered as a string, and whatever given inside the print statement is always printed on the screen. Okay. So we give the print statement, suppose if we will writing something like this, 5 plus 6, right? See, for this case also we are getting 5 plus 6, and for this case we are also getting 2 plus 3. I mean both are similar, right? Similar cases. So here we are passing a variable, here we are passing the string directly, right? So let's give an example for your notes. Right. Okay. Now let's see some mathematical operations. Suppose we have a value 10, another we have a value 3, right? And we get 10 divided by 3. Now let me know, if I will print the value of C, what will be the answer for this print statement C? Print C. Okay, 5 is wrong, 3 is also wrong. 3 is not the correct answer, guys. See, we will get a floating point value. Okay, try to divide 10 by 3, then we will get 3.333, something like that. Okay, okay. See, whoever is it written the value 2, that is also wrong. In another languages, we at least get 3. Right? So, what is the problem here? That whenever we try to divide, we try to divide an integer with another integer, then the value we get is always the integer. This rule is always followed in another languages. Okay, for example, in C++ and Java, right? So here we are trying to divide 10 with 3. So when following this rule, we may get the value 3, right? But in Python, this single divide line always return a float value. Okay, no matter you are dividing a int with a int or a float with a int, right? And see, while we use d 10, see, now if I will print the value of d, I will get 3, right? Double divide always return integer value, right? For example, if you will try to divide 10.3 with 3, see what we will get. We will get 3.0, right? Here, what we are doing, oh, okay, there is an exception here, and suppose it is always representing a float. Okay, guys. So, see, in this case, we are getting a float value. Okay, 3.0 is also a float value, right? It is not an integer because there is a decimal, right? So there is not a significant for putting a zero after a decimal, sorry, before a decimal, but it is treated as a float, right? So we have seen that double equal to always provide an integer value as a result, but we are getting a float. Okay, so this is because we are dividing a float with an integer, right? So just mention this one when performing int divided by int, we will get int. Now see, instead of using float divided by int, if you will use int divided by float, then again we will get a floating point. Okay, the type of d is of type float, right? So while doing when performing float divided by int, we will get float. Okay, so guys, these small exceptions are very important. Now and then you will see these types of codes in your MCQ questions. Okay, in various technical rounds. Now let's see why this is happening. Why we are getting float not an int. So acha, just let me know that these variable types are clear for you. I mean there are no, you are having no problem in these variables and the type of these variables, how this works. Okay. See, see, suppose whenever you are trying to save a data in integer, right, an integer type data. So suppose this is the size of the box inside your RAM where those data are stored. Okay, that value 10 or that value 3 is stored inside this box, right? And we have, uh, suppose this 10 is stored inside this value in this box. Okay, for this 3.2, okay, I think now it's clear. For that 3.2, there is one more but a larger box in the RAM. Okay, for storing that value 3.2, right? Now, when we are performing that division, okay, the result, there is a need to store that result also, right? We have to store the result. So Python always create a bigger box to store the result. Okay, I think this is clear. Now, why this bigger box is created? So, see, let's create a, yeah, let's create a markdown and we have, so there is something known as upscaling and downscaling. Okay, float require larger memory to save data. Okay, to store data, let's say, to store data, right? Int needs less memory. Suppose you are performing int divided by float, right? Okay, so the result we get after this division, maybe the result needs a very large memory location. May the result need large memory location for storage. Okay, so there is no, to ensure that there is no data loss during while performing the operation of this division. There will be no data loss in getting the result. To ensuring this, the Python store this result in a larger memory location. Okay, and that larger memory location is nothing but a float, right? Suppose what we have, let's take an example of 2.4 divided by 2, right? What will be the answer? What this print statement will print? What will be the output of this print statement? So 2 is wrong. That is why we are discussing these many things. We have seen that whenever we perform float and int, we get the answer as a float, not an integer value. So 2 is wrong. 1.0 is wrong. C. Oh, shit. 1.0 is right. 1.0 is right. Guys, are you executing these in your code, right? In VS Code, right? Try to use only pen and paper. Whenever I'm asking for an output, just try to use only pen and paper, okay? Okay, see. So, according to math, what will the value we will get? We should get the value of 1.2, right? Right? But here we are getting 1.0. So the loss of this 2, the loss of this 2 is here, right? So for the loss of, to recover this loss, to recover this data loss, this result is always stored in a larger memory location. Okay, the larger memory location is float, right? So that 1.2 value is stored inside a float. Now there is a catch. Why we are getting 1.0, not 1.2? Okay, so see, guys, I think this one is going to be a really a headache. So just focus here. I think it is clear that we are dividing a float with an integer. Okay, to storing this result, we get a very big location that is also float, right? I think this much is clear. Okay, now see, so we have a value. Size. So we have a value 2.4 stored here, right? And again, we have a value 2 stored here, and we are performing a division. Okay, an integer division. We are performing an integer division. Okay. So after dividing these two number, we get the result as we get the result as 1, right? But we are storing that result. We are storing this 1 inside a bigger memory location, that is a float. And 1 is not a float number. To make this float, we get the value 1.0, right? I think just let me know if you guys are able to understand this one. So the thing is here that we are trying to divide a float with an integer value. We are using the integer division. Okay, we are using this double division, right? So 1 is the answer of that double division, right? But for storing this one, we are using a very big memory location. For storing this one, we are using a very big memory location. So 1 is stored as a 1.0 inside that memory location. That's it. It should be 1.2 if we are using that float division method, right? But here we are using integer division. The result we get as 1. Now we have to store that result inside a box, and we get a very big box, that is a float. So we are storing, instead of 1, we are storing 1.0, right? To get 1.2, we will be using float division, right? Okay, let's see. Now suppose I have a variable. So it is the requirement of the program that I have to store these 5 variables, right? Okay. Teacher division 1.0, float division 1.2. Yeah, that's right. So this is the requirement of the code, that I have to use 5 different type of integers. Okay. And see, these integers are correlated in some manner, right? Multiples or something like that. Multiples of 10 or something like that. So instead of using these many variables, we have an alternative. That is, till now we have seen integer, boolean, and strings, right? And also float. Okay. So we can store all these inside an array. Now, let's see what is an array. In Python, this is known as list. Okay. So what is a list? It stores multiple data. Okay. And okay, we will add that later. Second, it always stored data inside these square brackets, right? Something like we have value 1, and we have value 2, and we have value 3. Each and every value is always separated by comma. Okay. Next, let's see. First, put it inside a code, then we will see. See, for example, this is a list, right? Okay. So to print the list, we use that print statement. Okay. Sorry. And it will print the list, right? Yeah, list is mutable. Now see, So in this case, suppose you only want to access this first element or you want to access this second element, something like that. Okay. So for that we use index. Okay. This first element, what is indexing? So each and every element inside a list is given an index. Okay. Index where this list is stored, where those values are stored, right? So the first index number is 0, second index number is 1, 2, 3, and 4. The indexing always start with 0, right? Indexing always start with 0. Now, if I will ask you that what is the length of this list, the length of this list is 5. Why? Because it is storing 5 elements, right? Yeah, index always start with 0 and the length of this list is 5. To get the length, we use a function that's to get the length of a list. So this length function is printing the length of the list, that is 5. Okay. The value 1 inside the list is getting an index number 0. By using this square brackets, we access the index, a particular index 0, right? So that is why 1 is printed here, right? Okay. So inside this, let's add, sorry, third number, it supports indexing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Okay. So see, okay, just listen to me very carefully. Okay. Suppose we have, and let's use new code. Suppose we have a variable a. This is storing 10, right? Now, if we again provide some value to this variable a, suppose first, then this previous value, that is a equal to 10, is lost, right? Now, if I will print a, now if I will print a, I will get the value first. Now, if I will print the type of a, I will get string, right? So, see, okay, see, suppose a is this box, right? So, it is the property of a variable that it always store only one data type at a time, only one value at a time. This a can store only one value at a time. When I am creating, sorry, when I am providing it with another value, that is a string has, okay, just observe very carefully that how the memory management of Python works, right? So earlier, this box is a, right? Earlier, this box is a, okay. When I am providing this string value to a, what happens? There one another box is created, okay, another box of a predefined size to store that string value, okay. Inside that this box, that string is stored, okay. Inside this block, that string is stored. Now what happened? That this box with value 10 is deleted, right? This box with value 10 is deleted, and this new box is named as a. So at this second line, what is happening? We have created a box named a, put it a value 10 inside it, right? Then again we are creating a new box, put the value her inside that box, and named that box with A and deleted the previous box. These three things are happening while you are providing a new value, new data type, a value of new data type. Okay, to a predefined variable. Predefined means that A is already defined. A is already in use in your code, okay, but again you are giving A with some other value, right? So these things happen inside your RAM, happen inside that interpreter to give to provide A with a new value. Guys, just let me know that you are able to understand this concept, this memory management one. Okay, so observe one thing. Inside a single code, inside a single block of code, A, this variable A can exist as an integer, and then again this variable A can exist as a string, right? So okay, inside the single block it exists as a 10, it exists as a string also, right? So changing the type of a variable, predefined variable inside a code, running code, is known as dynamic typing, right? Python is a dynamically typed language. We can change the data type of a variable whenever we want. Whenever there is a requirement, we can change the data type of a variable. Here we have changed the data type of A from integer to a string, right? So Python is a dynamically typed language. Guys, it is one of the, what you can say, that the power of Python, right? Then it is dynamically typed in nature. So how we can implement this in list? See, we have seen that A can exist only in one place, right? While A is provided to a string, this previous box was deleted, right? Garbage value, it is deleted, it was deleted. So see, inside a list, see how list overcome this. We can put values of type integer. Okay, one more thing. Suppose if there is a need to provide A with some another integer value, that is 20, then there is no need to create a new box. Okay, this original box, the first box with value 10 is used. Okay, only this value 10 is erased and the value 20 is given inside that box only. Okay, there is no creation of that new box, that new memory location, right? So whenever there is a change in data type, then only the new box is created. So inside this my list, we can store data type of integer. Then again, 1.3 is it of data type float. Then again, we can store a string. Let's use my string. Then again, we can use a store a Boolean value. And what is left? Leave the complex number for now. See, so a single list variable storing these many different types of data types, right? An integer, a float, a string, a boolean value. Okay, so okay, just let me know the index of this string. What is the index of this string inside this list? Yeah, that would be 3. So print my list and 3. We will get, okay, capital L. We will get my string. Okay. While using that small l, the variable it is referencing to is this one. I think I have defined that here. Okay. this variable is used here, right? Okay, so see, this whole notebook is considered as a single code. Okay, it is only a single source code, right? So whatever A written here and whatever A, I think I have declared it only in the first block. Whatever A written here, both are same variable. The concept we have seen right now, the creation of the box and renaming that one, the dynamic typing, that is again and again used in this code, right? This and this A are same variable. Those are not different one. Okay. So see, let's type the guys. Just let me know the output of this print statement. The output of this one. Okay, so it is of type. Yeah, it is of type Boolean, right? It is of type Boolean. The value true inside stored inside, right? Now let's see how this list is storing data. See, we have seen the principle that a variable at a time, at a particular instance, can store only one value, right? This that rule is also applicable in list. See how this list is stored, and how come that this list is able to store data of different data types, right? See what we can do. Let's create a small box, okay, and then let's create for integer, another one for integer, then we have a float, then we have a string, and then we have a boolean value. Boolean value is always of the form 0 or 1. Okay, see, so this is how a list stores data. So whenever we are creating a box, these blocks are nothing but the memory blocks inside the RAM. Okay, and every memory block inside a RAM is given an address that is known as memory address. Okay, so we have something called as box to store data is nothing but memory, and each memory box is given an address that is known as memory address, right? So how does this memory address look like? So we have address like street xyz, building number this, flat number that, something like that, right? So are you guys ever heard of hexadecimal values, boolean, decimal, hexadecimal, octal numbers? So a memory address is always of the form of hexadecimal values. Okay, it is always represented as something like I'm taking just an example, OX1 HF06, something like this. It always appears something like this. Okay, it is a memory address. Okay, so what happened whenever we have created these many memory block, all these blocks, each and every block has its own unique memory address. Okay, so for simplicity, uh, let's take that the memory address of the first box is x1. Then we have suppose x2, and then we have 3 and x4. Okay, something like this. These are memory addresses. Okay, so what happened? See, this my list variable, this box is known as that my list variable. Okay, this box is nothing but your list variable, right? And what happened? Each and every memory block, these memory blocks, right? What happened? This my list is having an array that is a very big continuous memory block. It is continuous, right? There are partition, right? Okay, something like this. There are partition, and the value of this x1, the value of this x1 is stored here in the first box. Okay, the value of this x2 is stored inside this second box. The value of this x3 is stored inside this third box. The value of this x4 is stored inside this fourth box. Something like this. Okay. Now, again, observe this, that suppose it has, let's give it a value of address A1. Okay. And A1. Yeah, that will be enough. See, this continuous block, these blocks are nothing but also a memory block, right? A memory block. And this also contains some address. This address A1, which is stored inside your that mylist variable A1, right? So this is how your the list variable contain different data types inside a single variable name, inside mylist variable name. So just observe this much, that your list, my list, is not containing the actual data. It is containing the address of that data. Suppose when we are accessing this mylist 3 now, for this mylist 3, we are accessing the value of x3. We are accessing x3, right? And it is the role of your interpreter that is, instead of x3, that is printing the value which is stored inside this box x3, right? Yeah, that is pointer, right? Pointer is some concept in C++. Okay, so this is how memory is managed inside Python for storing list. Guys, let me know if you have any problem till now in this memory management, because there are some topics where we are going to use these concepts again and again. Just take a note that the list variable my list is not containing the actual values. It is only containing the address of that values. Okay. Okay, no problems then. See, now we have seen that. Repeat which part? See, let me repeat again. Okay, guys. Suppose, okay, let's start again. See, we have a square, right? Okay. Consider this variable as your my list variable. Okay. This red one is your my list variable. This is your my list variable, right? So my list contain the address of variables, right? Yes, my list contain the address of the variables, the values, not variables. See, this is my list. So my list is here we can see that my list is nothing but a container, a box which is storing multiple values, right? So let's create a box. Let's create a box. Okay. Now let's create some separation inside that box. We have to store multiple values, right? Okay, so we have to store multiple values. Now the first value is 1, right? So inside this box, inside this first box, 1, wait, I think I'm not getting this one. Okay, let's see. We have some other multiple boxes inside a memory location. Okay, in RAM there, see, you have heard of that RAM is of size 8 GB, 16 GB, 32 GB, right? So that value, that 16 GB or 32 GB, is explaining that how many boxes you can create inside your RAM, right? So suppose the first element we have stored here is 1. So instead of storing 1 inside the list, okay, that box, we store 1 inside some other box, some random location inside your RAM. Okay, so we have seen that this random location have some memory address, right? This random location have some memory address. So instead of storing this one, we are storing the memory location of this one. Okay, so whenever there is a requirement of 1, we will access that memory location and we will get the value 1. Okay, instead of say storing 2, we are storing the value of that memory location where 2 is stored. Instead of storing, suppose we have a value 1.3, right? Instead of storing 1.3, we are storing the memory location of that 1.3, right? I think now it's clear that list is not containing the actual elements, it is containing only the memory address of those elements. Okay, so see, now see, where we have list. Now at fourth, it stores data of different data types. We have seen that list is capable of storing integer, then float, then string, like that. It stores address of data, right, which is needed to be stored in list, right? Instead of this actual 1, 2, and 3, it is storing the address. Now, to to print an address of any variable, right? To print the address of a is equal to 10, or to print the address of my list is equal to, see, this list is only containing a single value, right? To print the address, there is one function, that is id, right? You can use id to print the address, memory address of any memory location. Okay, we have a list. See, we create the memory location. Yeah, storing address, not value. See, okay, guys, just take a 2-minute break. I have to charge my laptop. Okay. Okay, guys, just let me know if you have any doubts till now. Right. So let's see. Okay, just let me know the output of, suppose we have a variable a is equal to 20 and we have a variable b is equal to e. Then again we have a variable of mining distance equal to, try to use only pen and paper, right? So print E, print B, print. Guys, try to write the output of these. Okay, just write the output of all of this, right? Yes, that memory topic is confusing one. We will see that again in tomorrow's session. Write the output of all the print statements. Yeah, the value a will be 20. See, memory location is of value any type, just write the memory location. Like memory location of A, memory location of B, something like that. See, 20 address of A, then we will get B, then address of list, and then length, which is of length is 6. And then sorry, your answer is wrong. Hello world address of A. See, now let's see. The first will print the value of A, right? We have something like value of A. Then what is B is storing? B is storing nothing but the address of A. Address of A. Now, many of you are confused in this, right? My list 0. So what is in the index 0? Index 0 is storing a variable that is B, right? So it is not going to print B. B is not a string that is going to be printed. B is not a string that is going to be printed, right? My list 0 will print the value inside this B. Okay, it will print the value inside this B, that is address of A. I think none of you are observing what I am trying to write. See, in this case, I have already used that example. I provided the variables name here, right? And when I have printed, the value of those variables are printed. Okay, so guys, please try to observe each and every line, right? So we will get address of A, then we will get the address of list, and then after that we will get the address length of list, that is of value 4. In this case, see, this is a new one for you. So in now, if I am only using my list 3, right? If I am only using indexing 3, we will get the hello world, right? And when I am using it with the value 4, again, we will get a single character, that is O. And O is nothing but the, here inside the string, a single character, right? So similarly, like a list, a string is also support string also supports indexing. See, the index of H is 0, index of E is 1, L2, another L3, and the index of O is 4, right? So, see, observe it very carefully. Inside this list, first we are going to access the third element. The third element is this hello world, this whole string. Inside that string, we are again going to access the fourth element. The fourth element is nothing but O, right? Hence the fourth element of the third element. It works something like this. How to find address? That's confusing. See, okay, just leave this one. Okay, leave this list implementation. We will see that again. Just to get the address of any variable, just use the id method. Okay, id function. So this is nothing but known as nesting. Okay, just try to answer these. I have on my list. See, I've told you that a list can store any data type. Okay, data of any different data types, right? We have stored 1, that is integer, 2, that is integer, 3.67, that is a float. I have stored, I have stored a string. Then again, inside a list, we can store another list. Okay, right? And inside let's store another string. Let's just print that output of these. Write the output of each print statement. There is no Boolean value. And Sakshi, your answer is wrong. There is not a single print statement. This output. Okay, let me tell you. So this mile is 0, nothing but the value of index 1, sorry, value of index 0, right? Again, mile is 4. See, in the index number 4, what is stored? See, for 0 that is 1, for 1 that is 2, for 2 that is 3.67, for 4, sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3, for 3, for index number 3, the value is a string, but for index number 4, right? We have 100 to yeah, I think we get a correct answer. 100 to hello world, and then we will get 300 OR. Yes, Pranay, your answer is right. See, in this index number 4, what is stored? In index number 4, inside the parent list, a whole list is stored, right? So it will print the list. It will print the child list, right? Because the child list is stored in index number 4. Okay. Now, see, first we are accessing the child list using index number 4. Okay. Now, inside this child list, we are trying to access the second index number, right? So the first index is 0, second index is 1, and the third index is 2. That is 2. We are trying to access the index number 2, right? So we will get 300. Now, see that 4, okay, this first 4 will give us the child list, right? This whole list. Now using the value 2, now using the index 2, we are accessing the value 300. Okay. Similarly here, we are accessing the character of the string, that is O, and in this one we are trying to access the character of the string, that is R, right? 0 and yeah, that will be R. I think these outputs are clear to everyone. Okay, now let's see. So guys, now let's see some other mathematical operators we have. So we have E is equal to 10 divided to that is an integer division. Then we have a float division, right? Then again we have a multiplication, right? Anyone just let me know the value of this, the value of D. What will be the value of D? Yeah, the value of d will be 100. Okay, so this double asterisk is used to give the power, right, exponential operator. So for example, for e, the value of 4. Now let me know the value of this e. What will be the value of e? The value of v e will be 2.0. That is the square root of 4. Use an integer division here. What we will get? A value 1, right? Okay, just a quick question. When we are using integer division, we are getting value 1. And we are using a float division, then we will be getting value 2.0. So what is the difference between using a integer division and a float division in the exponential method? Okay, just write the difference. Okay, why we are getting these two values, 2.0 and 1. And after that we have a right city left shift. So let's see some Boolean expressions. See, is 10 is double equal to 3. Now if we will print the value of a, what we will get? See, we will get false, right? This double equal to is a comparison operator. It is used to compare 10 and 3. Okay. After comparing 10 and 3, the result is stored inside A. Just take a note, whenever you are using a comparison operator, the resultant value is always a Boolean value. Okay. For example, if I am comparing 10 is greater than 8, now the value of B will be true. Okay. Inside this print statement, let's compare 12 is greater than 9. See what we will get. We will get the value true, right? So these are comparison operators. There are many more comparisons. For example, we have values like 10 is greater than equal to 12, and we have 13 is smaller than equal to 10. Then we have 100 is not equal to what, 24, something like these. Okay. Print, let's just give a print of value e, and we have value true. 100 is not equal to 24. That is correct. Okay. Again, see, there are some bitwise operators, right? So you guys know about the Boolean expressions or the binary representation of a number. So the binary representation of 2 is 1 0, sorry, 0 1 0 1 0, right? Binary representation of 3 is nothing but 0 1 1, right? Now if you want to perform the AND operator, right, AND operation with 2 and 3, just 2 2 and 3. Okay, see what we will get. It is nothing but 2. uh, just use pen and paper to perform AND operation on 2 and 3. You will get the value 2. Okay, for performing OR operation 2 or 3, in this case you will get the value 3, right? Okay, now for performing what we have, XOR operation, sorry, okay, we will get 1, right? I think you guys are familiar with AND, OR and XOR operation. See, for performing not operation, this is not the what we have any queries. Yeah. So for performing not operation, this doesn't work. Okay. Now there is one more thing that I think you have uh, heard of ZOR and NOR operations. Right. There is one more NOR operation. Okay. So there are no direct operators to perform NOR operation. Okay. You have to use these provided operations to get there. Right. And instead of let's see some conditional operators. See, these double equal to and these are what we have. What do you think about answering? If the question is string plus an integer, the value will be an error and the value will say, see, see, the value will say string, see, concatenate string, not integer to string, right? So, okay, if you guys know JavaScript, then this is a valid statement for JavaScript, but in Python, it is not allowed to add a string with another integer. Yeah, see, let me explain you one more example. Error cannot add a string with integer, right? See, we have something like this. Suppose I have a string which only contains a and we use the multiply method, right? So multiply work with a. It doesn't mean that it will print 2a. Okay, it will print a two times, right? If I will give 20, then it will print a 20 times, right? Okay, and okay, we will discuss about concatenation in detail. So how much time we have? Yeah, we have time. Okay, instead of these things, let's first see conditional operations. So we have seen greater than, smaller than, and something like these. Yeah, greater than, smaller than, equal to, not equal to, right? So there is something which is known as flow control. Okay, and flow control is nothing but if else. I think you guys are familiar with if else. So see how if else work. Okay, so we have if else, right? See, if, and inside this if we provide some condition, okay, and then we provide colon. This is the syntax, right? After that, in next line, just provide for space or a tab. Okay. Now, if the given condition is true, then this block will be executed. Condition is true, executing if block, right? And there is one more block that is else. Condition is false, executing, sorry, else block, right? Let's see how it will work. Suppose if we have 2 is double equal to 3, print condition true, else print condition false. Guys, just let me know the output. What will the output of this one? Output of this, then we have is not. Yeah, we will get the condition false, right? See, this if statement and this if statement are both are identical if statement. Instead of using double equal to, we are using is not, right? See, but do you have condition false false false? Okay. Yeah, but see what we have written here. 2 is not 3, but in this case we are getting condition true, right? So are you guys familiar with these words is and not keyword? Okay, just let me go through. Not, see, there is a keyword known as is, not, and, or. Okay, so we have seen that if a condition is true and another condition is also true, then you guys know that the final value we will get is of type true, right? It is true, right? Nothing but a Boolean expression. Okay, and operation. The AND operation we have performed here, the same AND operation, right? Okay. Now, if you will do 2 and 3, see what we will get. See, the value is 3, right? But here when we are performing 2 and 3, the value will be 2. So please don't be confused with these keywords and the Boolean AND operation, right? This AND keyword is only there to compare two expressions, right? It is only there to compare two expressions. And an expression is always resulted in two states, that is true or false. See, we have given a true statement or a false statement, right? So always use this keyword only when you are getting a value true or a value false in the expression. Suppose we have a value b is equal to not false. Now let me know what will be the output of this print b. So the output of the variable print b, that will be true, right? The value false, then that false is changed, right? We will get the opposite of the false, that is true. Okay. See, we have something like that. C is equal to not 2 is greater than 3. See, this 2 is greater than 3 will provide a Boolean value that is false, right? The not false will give you the value that is true. Okay. Okay. See, or similar to and, there is an or operation or keyword that is false. Sorry, false or true. And if you will print the value of d, you will get true. So you can play with these keywords. Right? Let's see the implementation. So please don't confuse with these use of these keywords with the expression, right? The condition expression. Instead of this, let's do not equal to, and we will get the value true, right? So, okay, right. There is one more mathematical operation, that is So you guys have observed that while using a division, okay, see, when we use a percentage sign, right? So percentage sign is always used to get the remainder. What will be the remainder if you will divide 10 with 2? The remainder will be 0, right? So the value of f is 0. If you will divide 10 with 3, then the value will be 1, right? Divide it with 4, then the value will be 2, something like this. So to take the remainder, use the percentage sign, right? So this is known as modulo operator. Okay. Okay, we have seen conditions. Now, inside this, if we can provide nested if, suppose, see, this is how we use them with variables. A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. Guys, just try to guess the output of this one, okay? Okay, how to get input from console. Okay, see, if B is greater than A, put A is equal to plus B. Okay. If A is greater than B, put A is equal to A modulo B, else A is equal to B, else if suppose A is greater than 100, A is equal to 100. So what will be the value of A? It will be continued till 8:30 towards. Just let me know the output. We have the value 30, right? Yeah, 30 and 10. There is only one print statement. How come we get two values? Yeah, so the value will be 10, right? And not 30. See, just execute it like this. Instead of A, compare 10 is less than 20. So this value is true. This result in a true condition, right? Then what we are doing, we are updating the value of A to 30. Right, the value of A is updated to 30. Again, only this true condition, this block is running, right? This block is executing. The execution of this block is not completed right now. Okay. After this A is equal to 30, we are comparing A is greater than B. That is 30 is greater than what is the value of B? That is 20. See, the value of A is updated. Okay. Use the updated value of A. So 30 is greater than 20. That is also a true condition. Then again the value of A is updated. That is the remainder when you divide 30 with 20. That is 30 modulo 20 and the value is 10. Right? None of these statements will be executed. Okay? Okay. What will be the output of this? Okay, so there is no switch statement in Python. Instead of switch, we use something else. Okay, the value is 0. Let me see. Yeah, so the value of a will be 0. Okay, see, what we are comparing 30 is less than 20. That is a false statement. Okay, so what is the false statement of this? We are getting the false condition inside this if, so this else will be executed. Okay, not this else. Okay, this particular else is binded to this if, right? So for the parent if, the parent else will be executed inside this else. Again, we are comparing 30 is greater than 100, which is also a false expression condition. In else, there is a value a is equal to 0. Okay. So instead of using these many if, there is one more thing, one more statement, that is elif. So this is how elif works in Python. It is similar to, we have seen this statement, right? So this elif is only similar to that statement. There is no change. The only change is using this keyword, okay? And there is no change in the logic, right? The condition, the first, this if block is executed means the condition of this if block is checked. Then if that condition is wrong, then the condition of this else if block is checked. Okay. After this, there may have some more elif condition, that is b is greater than, sorry, b is greater than or equal to 20, and we have a is equal to 40, w equal to 20. So guys, now let me know the output of this print a statement. This else if is nothing but if the first this condition is checked, then this condition, then this condition, then this else condition, right? Okay, it is similar to that if inside else, something like that. Okay, what is the value of print a? So it will not be 0. See, the value is false and this statement is executed. Okay, see how the comparison works. This is the first comparison we get. So the statement is false. So when the condition is false, we are not jumping directly to else. Then this condition is checked. Okay, we get 30 is greater than 100, right? This is again false. So when this one is false, this condition is checked, and we are getting 20 is greater than equal to 28, which is a true statement. So this line is executed. Always keep in mind, in a given if else block, okay, in a given if else block, only one block will be executed. There is, you cannot encounter a condition where two blocks will be executed. Okay, see, if I will give you something like this, 100 is greater than a, right? So now what we are comparing, this 100 is greater than a, this will return a true value, right? We will get the value a equal to 100. So here we have two true values, right? This is a true value, this is also a true value, right? But only this block will be executed. See, the value of a is 100. So inside an if else block, only a single block will be executed in a given instance, okay? In a given value. Okay, so someone has asked how to get the input from console. So here we have provided the value 10, right? But you are writing a code. So you want a condition where a user can provide you the value. For that, we use input method. Okay, input. So see, when I execute this, wait, see the first print statement, that is A will be printed with value 10, right? After this A, there are this line number 4, we have line number 6, and we have line number 7. Nothing is printed, the execution is stopped. Why? Because there is a print method, sorry, input method into play, and this input method is asking for the user to provide an input, right? Like I will provide 13. Then say this hello print statement is executed, and after that the value of this b will be executed. Okay. Okay. See, what will happen if I will type, check the type of this variable b after entering the value. See, now it is asking me for the value. This line is executing, asking me for the value. I will enter the value 14. See, the value 14 of b is printed. The value 14 of b is printed. But the type of b is a string. We have entered a integer value, that is 14, but we are getting a value string, a type string, right? So for this, we have to typecast, convert that value to a string value. So 14, now we are getting int. See what happened? Whenever you use input method to get an input from user from the console, the provided input is always of type string. See, I'm providing 14, right? I'm providing 14 to this B. Okay. So this 14 is always of type string. It is always given as type string. Here we are converting that type string into integer, right? We are converting that type string into integer. That's it. That's it. Okay. Inside this input, you can provide any statement like provide value for b, something like this, and here we will get, after printing 10, provide value for b, I will provide 12, and we will get 12 of type integer, right? Why convert? See, suppose you have taken the value b. Now I want to perform addition with a, right? I want to perform addition between b and a, right? Suppose right now I'm doing a conversion to integer, right? So the answer is 30. We are getting the value 30. Instead of conversion, see, in this case, we are not converting the value, right? We are taking the raw value. That is, suppose I am giving 20, right? We will get an error. Because, why? Because 20 is saved as a string inside this B. Okay, and we cannot add or concatenate a string with an integer. We have seen this error, right? So that's why conversion is necessary if you are expecting an integer value, right? So okay, many of you have said that you guys are familiar with coding, so just let me know the output of this one. Uh, Here we are printing the value of b plus a, right? What happens if I will provide a capital A and we are converting that capital A to integer, right? We can convert 14 string into 14 value, I mean integer value 14. But how can you convert capital A into a string? Sorry, into an integer. what will be the output of this print b plus e? Yes, 65. I think we will get an error here. So the conversion of that ASCII value, someone has written 65, right? A in ASCII code 65 is a plus 10, right? See, uh, in Python, what is happening here? Let me tell you. Much time we have. Now put this here. Okay. See why we will get the error. You can convert a numerical string into an integer type, right? Okay, you can convert a numerical string into an integer type. Okay, using this int conversion, right? But while performing, suppose a alphanumeric string, right? And if I will give the value b, now we will get an error. See, right? Invalid literal for int with base 10. Okay. Instead of using 1, 2, 3, only use, suppose if you will only use, suppose, then we will get again get the value. See, it is an interpreter, so it only stops at the first error. But again, for the C also, we will get the same error, right? So, if you guys have observed, here I was providing a single. Okay, here I was providing a single character that is capital A. So everyone is saying that it will be converted to ASCII value 65, right? But think of this condition. Instead of a single character, a user may provide multiple characters, right? A, B, C, D as the input. Then how come you can convert that A, B, C, D into integer? You cannot converted the value of A to ASCII value, B to ASCII value, and C. Then what you will do? You will add those values and multiply, right? So whoever has said the ASCII value, I think you guys are learning some other languages also. So there is a reason why ASCII values are directly accessible in other languages and not in Python, right? So in other languages, let me, yeah, in other languages there is a variable that is known as char variable, right? But in Python there is no character variable. There is only string variable, right? So ASCII value is defined for a single character, not a string. Okay. Suppose if I have a variable with only a and I will print the type of this a, right? It is of type string. If you will only provide single quotes, then also it is of type string. Okay, there is no character variable in Python. That's why you cannot directly convert ASCII into ASCII values, right? Okay, guys. So it is doubt time. So let me know if you have any doubts, or we will end this session. And yeah, consider it as your homework. Try to find how you can convert this given a into an integer. Okay, you guys. So see you in the next session.